two out, nobody on. No score. Wrigley beats the 2-2 delivery to Mantle. There's a swing and a drive to left field, and Mantle is a home run to Mickey Mantle. And Sal Magro made one bad pitch. And Mickey Mantle hits that ball out of the park. So it's the Yankees 1, the Dodgers nothing. The last out of the fourth inning, the batter's Yogi Berra.
Card number 59 from the 53 Bowman color set. That's a big card. And I just happen to have it sitting right here. So this might be the only physical card that we actually look at on camera tonight. So might as well show it now. If you're here early, you can see this. If you're watching this later, you can catch it right at the beginning, and maybe there won't be another card that we're going to look at. But yeah, the Mick. So that must mean that it is session number 59 of Card Room Live. Card Room Live is back. It's the stream where everybody knows your name. And there's the man himself, Don, from Don's Field of Dreams. And Mike is here as well. Good to see you guys. So I have to say this, like I say at the beginning of every session these days. This is not a show. This is a hangout for fellow vintage collectors. Sometimes we have guests. No guests tonight, but most of the time we just waste time looking at and talking about cardboard. And through it all, we try to make it time well wasted. So I hope we have a good time tonight. Usually we do, and usually it's because of the folks in the chat that make it a good time. If you want to get in touch or have ideas for future sessions, you can always email me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram, bowman53_Alex. You can find me on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it at 1953 Bowman Color. And of course, you can always find that information right below this video in the description. So if you're here live, welcome to you. I hope you'll chat, leave a comment, let us know you're here. If you're a lurker, that's fine too. Welcome to you. One of these days, maybe you'll leave a comment, but lurking is fine. We all do it. Introduce yourself if you're a new member of this YouTube community, or just sort of looking around on YouTube. You'll find that there are plenty of fellow collectors here that you'll probably have a lot in common with and will get along with. And I think we would all agree that the hobby is more fun when we have other people to interact with, and that's what this is all about. If you are listening to this later, you might be doing a lot of things. You might be going to work. You might be coming home from work. You might be on a break. You might be sorting cards. You might be looking at eBay, walking the dog, sitting on the john, wondering if Impact Player will ever make another video. I'm going to keep saying Impact Player because I have a feeling he will make another video one of these days. Whatever you might be doing, I hope you have a good time. I hope you get something out of it. I hope it passes the time. For those of you that are here right now, if you have a question, it doesn't have to be a question for me. It can be a question for the community, question for fellow collectors. Or if you have an idea for a topic, I encourage you to drop it in the comments. I'll be checking the comments out here in a moment. Because that would be great if we had a couple topics to pass the time with. Otherwise, get ready to listen to silence, because we're not afraid of silence in this live stream. This is a live stream about nothing. So it's Sunday evening. the cicadas have finished their thing here in Savannah. It's September, which means that baseball is getting more and more exciting, paying more and more attention to what's going on. The Phillies are consistently frustrating, let's put it that way. They're extremely great, and then they lose all of it and just fall apart, and then they come back again, and they're just frustrating and impossible to figure out, which is really no different than they were last year. As long as they contend, I guess I'm satisfied. So let's see what's going on in the chat. So Mike is here, as we saw earlier. Don is here. Larry's here. Larry, good to see you. Orlando is here. Good evening, Orlando. Timeless Cardboard says, here's something to ponder. If the T206 Wagner was not short printed and had a normal population, minus the other big three cards in the set, where would the Wagner be price-wise? I have no immediate thoughts on that. I'm curious if anybody else in the chat does. Maybe you already have, because I'm looking at this later, so I'll see if anybody else has any thoughts on this. But it would be interesting to think about where that card would sit in the hobby were it not a short print. Here's Mike. Can you really waste time talking about cardboard? Yes, you absolutely can. And I think all of us in this community are really good at wasting time when when it comes to talking about cardboard. And that's what this live stream is all about. I know what you're saying, Mike, but there's got to be other things that we should be doing, right? I don't know. Carlisle, Twitter to X equals Twix. Well, now I want a Twix, and I'm thinking about Seinfeld now in that episode where like George really wants a Twix. So thanks for that. Vintage Cards says he's watching the Rockies Blue Jays game in the background. Vintage Cards, where are you from? Are you from Colorado or Toronto, or are you just watching that game out of curiosity? Hey, Terry's here. Good to see you, Terry. Terry, I already told you congratulations on a great collab video that he did recently with James, Elite Hunters. That was an excellent video, and I'm sure most of you guys probably know about it and have seen it, but if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. And let's see what's going on here. Boston Kid, what's up, man? I think I just left a comment on a video that you just made that all of you guys should check out. If you don't know the Boston Kid, you should subscribe to that channel. He just left a short video about his journey getting back into card collecting. So you should definitely check that out. Mike, Sports History Collector, says that he heard the Padres want to sign Cody Bellinger next year. Maybe they'll end up in third, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of teams right now that are under heavy criticism for the amount of money that they spent and where their teams are sitting. I know the Yankees and their fans are asking a lot of questions right now. The Show and Me, what's up? I think your name is Dan. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember not just channel names, but like people's actual names. So good to see you. I enjoyed your video, by the way, on collecting artwork as postcards. I love ideas like that where, you know, we all have our general hobby habits, let's say, but it's always nice to have sort of, let's say, side PCs that are still satisfying, but maybe don't break the bank. Lou's here. What's up, Lou? Oh, I love this. The Wagner would be like the green Cobb, maybe a little better if it were Wagner's only card in the set. That's a good read of what might have happened. So if you guys missed it, for anybody that's just jumping in, the question was asked by Timeless Cardboard, where would the Wagner card sit if it hadn't been a short print in the T206 set? And that's an interesting comparison there. And Don says maybe with the Cobbs and the Walter Johnson in price. Let's see what's going on. I don't usually associate vintage with the Jays and the Rockies. Yeah. Well, I don't think vintage cards does either, but we have to live in the present, don't we? We're all cursed with living in the present day. Larry says it would cost no more than Mathewson, Cy Young, and Walter Johnson. So here's the answer. Vintage Card says it's from neither Toronto or Colorado, but love Coors Field, right up there with PNC Park as the most beautiful park. Really, I've never been to either of those parks. PNC Park has definitely been in my mind as a place that I'd want to go to. Not that I wouldn't also want to go to Coors Field. It's just not one that's really in my head. I mean, there's so many fields I have not been to. Like I haven't been to Fenway. I haven't been to Wrigley Field. So I've got a lot of catching up to do. Trey Turner is on point lately. Yes, he is. And it's amazing. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of it, because it seems like a feel-good story that is just tailor-made for the media. But I actually think it's true that Trey Turner really turned a corner when he came back to Citizens Bank Park and the entire stadium stood up and cheered for him despite his massive slump that he was in. I saw a lot of people talking about it on Twitter before it happened, like when everybody knew they're coming back to Philadelphia, how's the fan base going to react? And people were talking about going to the game and are we going to boo him? Are we going to cheer for him? And there was a lot of debate about it beforehand. And then when it happened, it was a beautiful thing to see. I was watching the game as it happened. And I mean, I feel like nowadays with baseball, we like to take the human element out of it. Everything is analytics. And, we don't put much stock in the emotional part of it, but I really think that had something to do with it. It was like a lot of it was psychological because he's like a completely different guy ever since that happened. What's up, Doug? Good to see you. Dan is my cousin. I am Don. Okay. Sorry about that. 3D 80s kid, what's up? Impact Player, there he is, guys. He's a real person, and you should follow him because something's going to happen one of these days. I have a feeling. I just have this feeling something's going to happen. A's Fan Jim, what's up? John's here. What's up, John? Lots of good folks in here. Let's see. Can't rewrite history. What if the last series of 52 hadn't been dumped in the water? Right. Yeah, what if they were making parallels and one of ones back in 1952? Wouldn't be as much fun. I'll say that. I think most people say this. Most vintage collectors will say this, but I'll say it again anyway. One of the reasons I don't collect modern is because it's so damn confusing. There's just too much, and I can't keep up with it. And if that sounds old and curmudgeonly, I'm totally fine with that. I don't care. Larry says, lived 47 years in Colorado, had season tickets to the Rockies for years. Great park, lousy ownership. Right. Never been to Coors Field, but I'm grateful that smuggling Coors beer inspired Smokey and the Bandit. What's up, Stooks? Baseball cards and curiosities. All of these folks here are great YouTubers with great channels. So you should definitely, if you haven't heard of any of these channels, you should definitely look them up, subscribe to them. I got to get up north, Don. It doesn't happen that often, but I'll take you up on that offer. I've got all these ideas. Like, I think wouldn't it be awesome if we did like a YouTuber trip to the Hall of Fame? Or if we did like a YouTuber stadium tour. Shoot, I had another one. But the problem with all these ideas is we already have the national, and like trying to do more than one trip a year that's like YouTube baseball related, I think is probably too much to ask. But I do need to get up north, and I do need to get to PNC Park. What's up? Signs of the Past Time. Great channel. Good to see you, man. Don, other Don. Went to college in Denver, would walk from campus to Coors Field for games. Cheap tickets and good views. That's cool, man. That's an amazing college experience. Dean is here. What's up, Dean? Hodges, 1455. What's up, man? Modernist contrived. Thank you, John. You said what I was trying to say much more succinctly than I could. Hitman 23. There's a YouTuber, OG. What's up, man? Boston Kid. Definitely follow Boston Kid, guys, if you haven't already. I have to come to Pittsburgh in May when they have their World Series parade. That would be a sight to see. Looks like autographed vintage cards are trending. Are they? Orlando, where are you seeing that? Are you seeing that like from shows or on YouTube or both? I'm just curious, like what your perspective is on that. Jason, what's up? I've caught up with the comments at card shows. Really? I mean, I don't know what to say. I think autographed vintage cards are cool. It's not something that I've ever really focused on. I know a couple fellow collectors that do that. And I remember I talked about this before. This is a YouTuber that perhaps some of you guys don't know because he doesn't make videos anymore. But Joey Brings It at one time was collecting the Bowman Color set autographed, and it was beautiful to see the cards that he found autographed by players, because those cards, I don't want to collect Bowman Color that way per se, because I'm done with that set, but I think that set really lends itself to autographs because there's nothing else on the card and they look really nice. But yeah, I don't know what to think about it, or like what it means for the hobby, one way or the other. Rocket Rick, what's up? Good to see you. At the Saturday card show, the bigger dealers had more autographs than ever. Jason says, I agree with Orlando. A lot of auto vintage cards at many shows. I'm not an autograph guy, but very cool if that's what you like. Yeah. I collect autographed baseballs, although I haven't really been collecting that in a while. I've been really focused on cards. But I will say that like autographs add a whole other level to the process in terms of like authenticity and quality of the signature, and what writing device did they use, and at what point in their career did they sign, and what's the monetary value of that, and where did they sign, on the ball or on the card. I mean, there's so many other things that do go into autographs, that, and not to mention, I mean, I said authenticity, but whether or not it's a legitimate autograph, and did the authenticator accurately authenticate that autograph, or did they make a mistake? There's so many things that compound the process of collecting when you add autographs. I can say that because I've collected a lot of autographed baseballs over the years, and anybody in here that's done it too, like how much thought and scrutiny you have to do to collect autograph stuff, unless you just cover your eyes and are willing to have. I mean, even when you do a lot of scrutiny, there's a good chance you'll have stuff in your collection that's not authentic. So I miss Joey Brings It, Cali. That's right. Exactly. Yeah, Joey was a great YouTuber. Not sure what's up with him these days. Autos are a form of worship I just can't get into. The prices are nuts. The provenance unknown mostly. Yeah, I mean, I've always said, because I've got, you can kind of see them back here, right? Unless you actually watched the guy sign it, you don't 100% know without a doubt that it is legitimate. I mean, you can do your homework and you can be fairly confident. And the funny thing is that even if you see it in person, somebody else is still going to wonder if it's legit or not, right? But as for the draw of autographs, I get it, because I've got an autographed Joe DiMaggio baseball. That's one of the first autographs I ever got, and I got that, gosh, like 5 or 6 years ago. And I'll tell you, when I got that baseball in the mail, I've never been as blown away by anything I've collected as I was when I got that Joe DiMaggio baseball. It's like, there it is. Joe DiMaggio held this baseball and he signed it. And I've gotten some cards that I was very excited about over the years and that sort of thing. But there's something, to me at least, that transports you when you see, and to me it's when it's on a baseball. I don't know. I mean, maybe I would feel the same way about it if it was a card, but when it's on a baseball, there's something tangible about it. Like, it feels like it's part of the game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can really explain it, but I also agree with you, John, that that people can go overboard with it, maybe. Jason, based on videos I saw from the National, there are some athletes upcharging depending on the card. Right. Yeah, I heard that too. I can't remember where I heard that, because there were so many national videos, so many great national videos. Or maybe it was in a live stream. Somebody mentioned that. In fact, it might have been in this live stream when I was talking to Dom and Mitchell. But I remember hearing that. Autographs are risky. Yes. Checks are safe. Yeah. You know what? Checks to me are bizarre, I have to say. Like, I get it. It's like, there's the guy's autograph and it's his because it's a check. That totally makes sense. But like, having some guy's check doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. Let's see what's going on. The spirit of autos is to create a memory, a snapshot in time. We've tossed it away. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, it's less about like, oh my gosh, Joe DiMaggio is my favorite player, I'm going to go to Yankee Stadium and try to get him to sign something. It's now, some player lined up with a bunch of stuff from Topps and they have to like scratch their name down 100 times, whatever. I totally get that. Signs of the past time. 1979 TCMA is a good alternative to 53 Bowman for autographs if you don't like vintage signed. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, it's totally it's not a rip off, but let's say it's an homage to Bowman Color, and it's a really cool set. Um, oh wow, okay, so this is the news. The official name for the puppy is Mobley. Okay, call him Mo. Satch was a finalist. Well, so it didn't happen, but Mo is a cool name. Okay, but my baseball comes from the 1950s. So, so there, John. Let's see. Stuke, autographs take a lot of experience, and experience doesn't always work, but it takes time to learn that part of the hobby. Yeah, for sure. And even people that have been at it for decades, I'm sure, will make mistakes. Hopefully, not costly mistakes. Jack Nicklaus didn't have a legible autograph until Arnold Palmer chastised him. Palmer thought you should be able to read every letter. They were old school. That's great. Larry, mainly baseballs, but the Babe Ruth check I have is written to his golf club. And I have it displayed with a picture of him swinging. That's cool. Oh, so that's cool because it has some sort of a story. You get a little insight into Babe Ruth's life. So that's cool. I can appreciate that. And having anything signed by Babe Ruth is pretty awesome. I would take a Babe Ruth autograph in any form. Yes, right. Yeah, at least we're forcing players to have to write their names. All right, guys. We've reached the half-hour mark. How many? I don't know why I started with how many. We should look up some cards. We should go on eBay and look up some cards. We haven't done that in a while. Vintage. I'm curious to hear from you guys whether it's a card that you're looking for, a set that you're thinking about building, a set that you're interested in, obscure or not, a card that you love, a card that you hate. Drop a set or a specific card into the chat, and let's see if we can get something going here on eBay. We usually get a good string of different cards to look at. I've been spending the day looking at my collection. I'm working on a new video that I'm not done with, and I'm not in a huge hurry to do it. It might take me a few more days because I'm not really working on it constantly. But it's a video about my progress with my somewhat new PC of New York City baseball cards, primarily the 50s, but also the 40s and 60s. And I'm kind of looking at it as like how is it going so far? Because I've been doing it for 2 years now. So I'm working on that video, and I've been pulling all my cards and shooting them and arranging them, and that's got me really thinking about how that set build, because it's not really a set, but how that PC is going. And what I noticed is I'm missing. I hardly have any Yankees cards for whatever reason. I think I'm a big Brooklyn Dodgers fan. And I've got a lot of Mays cards and Giants cards, but I don't have as many Yankee cards yet. So I've been noticing a lot of holes in that part of the PC. Anyway, so I've been looking at cards all day and shooting stuff and thinking about my PC, but I'm curious what you guys might have been looking at lately, and if you have any suggestions, we can look some cards up. Let's see. Stuke says I was looking at a 1961 Bell Brand 7-card lot with Sandy Koufax, tempting for a 325. Yeah, those are some beautiful, beautiful cards. Let me open up the screen here so you guys can look at something other than my mug. And here we go to eBay once again. (1961) Bell Brand potato chips. And I think this is the very lot you were talking about. Let's make this a little larger, and I'll lower this. Some great shots in here, great poses. It's funny because it's 61, but there's some like hangover from the 50s style of doing stuff in the way that these cards are made. Uh, 1958, Elston Howard. 1958. Let's see. Okay. It's funny because I think it was in the last stream I was complaining about this set, and everybody was, let's be fair, guys, everybody else was also complaining about this set. Not everybody, but most everybody. But this is a pretty cool card. It's a little weird that you can't see the bat because it's like the perfect angle where the bat is like straight back. But it's a pretty cool card. I definitely like the red. That works really well. I like this card a lot. This is a card that I'm considering for my build. I just like the blue and the yellow. I think they all go pretty nicely together. It's just a nice color combination. Let's see what's going on here. Jason says, not necessarily a card, but I picked up a book at a flea market today from 1952, Major League Baseball 1952. It has Stan Musial on the cover. It's kind of like a stats book of the year. That's cool. Let's see if there's any chance that it's on eBay. Major League Baseball 1952 book. It's not the All-Star game, I'm going to guess. Who is it? This one? Oh, yeah. You said Stan's on the cover. Well, I don't know if Don's watching, but that is a beautiful looking item right there. Facts, figures, official rules, and stories of the stars. Stanley Musial, Player of the Year, 1951. That's a great looking book. You know, I was trying to find. I want to see if I can find like a really small book with Sandy Koufax on the cover. I've been looking around on eBay. So if anybody knows of one of these smaller books from like the 50s or 60s that has Koufax on the cover, let me know in the comments or send me an email. I would appreciate it. But yeah, this is a great, and I really like the green and the red with this. It's cool. Don asks, will you dive in 60s Mets? No, I don't think so. There are definitely like Mets cards from the 60s and 70s and beyond that I will eventually get into. that I guess would be, you could like lump into the same PC, but right now I'm kind of looking at it as the time period where it was the New York Giants, the Brooklyn Dodgers, and the New York Yankees. I'm kind of focusing on that. But I definitely have cards that, like, I want to get, gosh, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, like those are names that like I grew up with, and it's really weird, I guess, that I completely haven't touched that part of the hobby yet. Those are all players that I know and respect and want to have cards of, but I'm just not. I'm trying to stay focused because I feel like if I go for everything, I'll just spread myself too thin. No reindeer tonight. He must be combing his beard. And we all know that that's an all night affair when Scott has to tend to the beard. Everyone seems to love the 58 Topps Spawn, even as a Braves fan. I think it's merely okay. Yeah, I think maybe it's because of all the 58 Topps, it's sort of like the go-to because it's one of the more pleasing cards in that set. But yeah, let's not pick on 58 Topps again. We already did that last time. 54 Whitey Ford. Are you referring to the Topps? In fact, I think I have it somewhere. Well, it's got to be in this pile. If not this one, oh well, but here it is. I love this card. This is one of my favorite Whitey Ford cards just because it's different. This is just a cool side view of his delivery and his grip. And I like the blue. Don is the one who likes the 58 Spawn. I think you're not alone, Don. Mine has a crease, but it was $10 and I had to buy it. Yeah, I mean, when a book has a crease, it's like, you can live with it. I like books that have had a life. And $10, that's a great deal. We can't all love the same cards. If we all love the same cards, we'd all have the same collection, and that would be boring. At the risk of like, I'll try to be diplomatic about it, but honestly, like when you collect, when you collect only the most popular cards, I mean, it's kind of predictable, right? Like, I mean, there are definitely cards that everybody likes because, I mean, like the 54 Hank Aaron, like I can't imagine anybody not liking that card. Now, you may not be able to get that card. I was barely able to get that card, and I'm glad I have it. But I feel like that's a card everybody would like to have, even if it wasn't valuable. It's a beautiful card. But I don't know where I was going with this. I just think it's cool when like people like, let me see if I can find a card. Yeah, I mean, here's a good one. I absolutely love this card. I'm obsessed with this card. Now, for other people, that card, I mean, it's Duke Snyder, so like, okay, that's a name everybody knows. But for other people, I'm like, okay, I don't need that card. It's okay, but I don't want it. But to me, it's like I had to get this card. This needed to be in my collection. And I like that. Like everybody has a different way of seeing cards. Some cards that might not be that special to one person is somebody else's favorite card. That to me is like what makes all of our collections worth looking at. It's like everybody's got a different approach. Let's see. Dean Gerhardt loves all the cards. But But Dean, that's because you collect all of the cards, so you have to love all the cards. I mean, Dean, you are doing something that not all of us can do, which is love all the cards. I don't know if some of you guys remember Passion for Cards. I miss that guy. He's out there, and I still talk to him once in a while. He still has a YouTube channel. He hasn't made a video in a while, but that guy is literally collecting every single card. Like literally, he has, like, you guys remember the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark with that warehouse? Like that's what he has. Like he literally is attempting to get every. I don't know if he's attempting to, but it kind of seems like he is, including modern, like every card. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see, and it's not easy to do. And I have a lot of respect for that, because all the cards are awesome. You know, it's kind of fun to pick and choose, but let's be honest, all the cards are awesome. Rocket Rick, I think one of the 60s Sporting News baseball guides has a photo of Koufax on it. Let's check. Because I just typed in, oh yeah, Sporting News baseball register. I don't know if that's what you were referring to. Okay, so that was the one you were talking about. I'm a little behind here. Yeah, the 54 Tops. I mean, 54 Tops is my favorite Tops set from the 50s. And that's not easy to say because there are tons of fantastic sets from the 50s, but made by Tops. But that is my favorite. I've been looking at the 51 Bowman Campanella and Berra. Yes. 51. I always get these mixed up. Should type in Bowman, I suppose. Yes, I love that card. I have that card somewhere nearby. And Berra. Oh, that's a cool card. Yeah, I always think of the, I guess is it 50 Bowman era? Yeah. This is the card that I'm after, which, I mean, a lot of people have, and a lot of people have shown this card, but I remember specifically Don from Don's Field of Dreams showing this card and talking about it, and that's when it really kind of resonated with me. Jason, my first pre-war purchase and still one of my favorite cards in my collection is 33 Galley Ted Lyons. Cool. Let's take a look. 1933 Gaudy. See, this is what's fun. I love looking up cards, especially when I don't immediately have the picture in my head. Oh, that's a great looking card. Yeah, that's really cool. And all the detail in his jersey. Let me see if I can make this a little larger. There you go. And his aerated armpits. Really cool. Carlisle, one of the things I really enjoy about collecting Braves cards is that I have really nice vintage cards that aren't in most people's collections, yet all the cards relate to one another. Sure. Yeah, it's like there are cards that only a Braves collector might go after, right? But that's what makes it cool to look at that collection. Hitman 23, 59. Yes, the 59 Tops. Snyder. The LA cap. And the green circle, well, the green border. Yes, definitely. There's, I mean, all the cards are fascinating. Like I was saying before, it's fun to pick and choose, but all the cards are awesome. And the Braves, yes, have so many great food issues. A little jealous of how many great oddball sets they have. 1960 Meet the Dodger Family. I'm gonna literally type that in. What is this? I've never heard of this. This is great, Scott. Johnny Padres. There he is. And that's not bad either. Sandy Koufax, his strikeout average is the best. That's awesome. I don't know if this is, did they do this in multiple years? Because this one's 61. I don't know if there was only 1 year that they did this or. That is so great. Look at that quote. When he is good, he's very, very good. This is awesome. Thanks so much, man. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this. I'm curious if they did other. Um, I didn't even pay attention. Oh no, yeah, because that was 61, but they also did it in 60. Maybe they just don't have um, a Koufax on eBay at the moment. Let me see if I can find one elsewhere. Yeah, so here's the 1960 version. Oops. And 61, which we already looked at. Might just be 1661. That's super cool, though. Thank you so much, Stuke, for calling that out. I mean, that's why this stream is so fun to do. It's always something new to discover. Let's see. Peeps. Peeps, do you have a channel? I'm not familiar with your channel if you do. Recently got a copy of the 1964 Dodgers Celebrate showing the dog pile with Sandy as the World Series MVP in the middle. Awesome card and very affordable. Celebrate. All right. Carlisle. Completed the entire Braves team set of 1954 Red Hot Dog Food. All I had to do was pick up a Spawn card. Right. It's a beautiful card, though. Cool. I saw 1661, but maybe there are more out there. I'll take a look. But thanks again. Carlisle, I think everyone would enjoy putting together at least one complete vintage set. Completing 59 tops set was so much fun, but I can't do any others prior to the 70s. Too expensive. Yeah. You got to pick the right set, right? Because there are some sets that are just undoable unless you accept not getting certain cards, which like T206 people do all the time, right? Like minus the Wagner and the short prints. But I do agree, like expense aside, picking a reasonable vintage set and building it is so rewarding and fun, especially if you can get other people involved. If you can trade with people or people know you're building a set and can help you out, it just creates all this interaction in the hobby that's can't be beat. As Orlando knows, yeah, the 59 set is a great one to do. I thought about doing that one at one point. Okay, you do, but you don't make a lot of videos. Okay. I'm going to try and find your channel. There's always an adventure on YouTube when you try to type somebody's channel name in. Let's see. There you are. I found you. Four Leaf, hope you're having a great evening as well. Stukes does know all about the cool stuff. Troy, good afternoon or good evening. I don't know what time it is where you are. All right. Well, in case y'all are curious about what's coming up, usually we don't have a plan on this thing, but next weekend, I'm planning to do a live stream with Dan's Vintage Baseball PC, which some of you guys know. If you don't, you should definitely look him up, Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. Dan and I are going to talk about New York City baseball. We're going to specifically talk about the Yankees and the Dodgers, and we're going to focus on two World Series, in particular between the Yankees and the Dodgers from the 50s. And we're gonna play it by year, but we're definitely going to talk about the games and the players, and we're going to look at cards. And it's going to be kind of off the cuff, but it'll be a lot of fun because Dan is a great wealth of information when it comes to the history, but also he has a great collection, and he's a New Yorker, and I'm going to have a lot of fun talking to him about that and looking at cards. So I hope you guys will be there for that. So that'll be next weekend. And then the weekend after that, I think, and it is subject to change because, who knows what happens. But right now, not next weekend, but the weekend after that, some of the folks that are in here, including Stuk and Don and Rick Acosta and the Drew, are going to get together, and we're going to talk about random bits of trivia that we have about cards in our collection. Little bits of whether it's player trivia or just card collecting hobby trivia, little known facts, weird things that we know about our cards. And again, that's also going to be off the cuff because everything about this is off the cuff. So that should be fun. Looking forward to that. So there's a couple things that are kind of somewhat planned, but I always love the random nights like this one where we're just jumping on YouTube and looking around, or not YouTube, eBay. Anyway, we'll call it for the night. Thanks for joining in, everybody. If you like this live stream about nothing, give it a thumbs up. I don't usually ask for that, but you should give it a thumbs up, and you should make yourself heard. Let us know that you liked it. If you didn't like it, or you just don't feel like using your thumb, hey, that's okay. A reminder, if you want to get in touch or have ideas for future sessions, or if you want to be in a future session, I'm always happy to have guests and chat about cards or YouTube or anything. You can always email me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can also reach me at Bowman53_Alex on Instagram, 1953 Bowman Color on Twitter. And of course, that information is located in the description below. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Always enjoy it. Always enjoy the company. The place where everybody knows your name. Shout out to Don and his nude puppy. So have a great Sunday. Have a great week, everybody. Happy Labor Day. Enjoy your time off. Enjoy time with family. Enjoy time with cardboard. And we'll see you next Sunday. Have a good night.